want to show you the midterm outcome. Okay, so I was a bit disappointed that this semester is not doing as well as last year, the same time. So you can say, well, because we have less time to study, fine. I compare last year, summer, 2024. Question, very similar. Not identical, of course, with different numbers and stuff, but the question very similar. Okay, I told you to do the question 3 times. I give you the opportunity to do it. In the past, I did a lot of analysis. How many times you missed the class? Do you have the attendance sheet? Analysis last semester. How many classes student missed? What's the outcome? Okay, so just give you a little bit perspective. Student, at the time, student missed 3 classes because the first 2 classes I do not take attendance. So midterm, up to midterm, we have 4 classes from attendance. Student miss all 4. Never miss any class, miss 1 class, 2 class, 3 classes, and all 4. Okay, never miss a class. The average was 68%. Miss 1 class, drop to 58%, average. Okay, so that's a 10% difference. Not that you attend every class, you're going to do well, but can you imagine if you don't come to class, you're going to do worse. So this year, I did not do attendance, comparing attendance. Can you pass along? Here's another sheet. This is all 3 sheets together. Okay, so this year I did you submit the exercise? I asked you to do 3 times, the questions, okay? So I found out that some students did not even bother to do any practice at all. Okay, so for those students did not submit anything or only submit 1 of the 4 set of questions. Okay, pretty much all of them failed. Did not do any question. Only about 4 people pass, and the pass is not very high. Only 1 student get higher. Rest not doing very well. Okay, and the way I look at it is not because the question, maybe the question is similar to the exam, but when students don't do the question, it's because time management. You don't have time to practice, you don't have time to study, you don't have time to practice. Of course, when you come to write an exam, you don't do well. So our final exam in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This week finish, next Tuesday, the Tuesday after, you have final exam. So I'm going to tell you what I will ask you in the final exam, and I told you this even in the midterm exam. I said, you don't need to do any calculation. There's 8 marks. I told you DOL. Did you learn DOL? Did you how to write DOL? Did you talk about the benefit, cost and benefit for activity-based costing? Did you write those down? And the lowest, 24%. Even those is already 8 marks. How can anybody get 24%? You don't know how to do any calculations? Okay, so students said, well, the last question, I don't know how to do the calculation. Well, if you know how to do the calculation, you know what the question asking you. I told you there are 3 class pool. You need to find out the rate. Once you know the rate, you apply. How difficult is that? Okay, so I'm disappointed. I'm going to tell you, okay, whatever we do today, go home quickly, do those questions 3 times, submit it. I was very annoyed. When do we have guest lecture last Wednesday. How long does it take you to write one page reflection paper? 1 or 2 hours the most, okay? Sunday night, still some student did not submit. If you don't want to submit, it's not my problem. Monday morning, yesterday morning, I woke up, the first thing is, quite a few students told me that I cannot upload. Why do you wait till the last minute? Again, time management. Okay, not that you are less smart than anybody else. You will not take responsibility. If you have difficulty uploading it, contact me before the deadline. You don't wait till the last minute, 11:59. You try to upload, it closed. Then you have a problem. You submitted earlier. You have so many days to submit. Why do you wait till the last minute to submit? Then I have to open it again because if I don't do it, I feel guilty. I put lots of pressure on me. Okay, the student always say, I take full responsibility and can you open it for me? Well, if you take responsibility and then suck it up, I did not submit, my fault. So I open it again because I try to be nice. I open it again till noon. Guess what? Still student email me. I have difficulties uploading it. You knew it. At 9 o'clock, I already reopened it. I gave you 3 hours to upload. You have problem, talk to me. You don't wait till after 12 o'clock and telling me that I have difficulties. So I said, there's no extension, sorry, no extension, okay? When you don't do something on time, it creates unfairness to other people. Those students, they follow the rules, they submit online, on time, they don't create any problem. And those who did not submit on time, if I don't do it, I feel guilty. I have to give you the chance to do it. Okay, it's not fair to everybody. Not fair to me, not fair to everybody else. And don't do that to your boss if you're going to do the co-op work term, okay? Because you're working in school, I can be tolerant a little bit. I say, okay, I give you a chance to do it. I give you a chance to do it. When you go out there to work, okay, they don't like how you behave, your work ethics, you don't come back next time. So time management is very important. If you manage your time well, you have time to practice, you have time to study, everything is okay. If you're not paying attention, you take too many courses. That's another problem. Why do you take so many courses and you cannot handle everything? So don't do that. Okay, so the average 60%, median 60%, highest 94. So similar question last semester, the highest was 100. Last year, because I don't teach in the fall term, show you last year. Average 68%. Highest 98%. Ours highest 94%. The lowest 19, our lowest is 24. Very similar, so I can compare. And because it's also 4th week, we have a midterm. Last year, I had less students. I have only 2 classes. This year, we have 3 classes. So I don't know what happened. Maybe you got too many things on your plate. I don't know. So this is a very fair comparison, okay? Last year's student, maybe they spend more time. I'm not saying they're smarter. They just spend more time studying. And this is for you to think about it. You have 2 weeks. How are you going to manage your time to study? I don't want to fail anybody, okay? If you ask any TA, I say generous marking. It's not to my benefit to fail anybody. It's no good for you to come back. Why? No reason. But you have to study, you have to do it. If you don't do well in this exam, you can still pass, okay? Because we have a project. I told the TA the range is around 80, so it's high. Your assignment is high. I gave you bonus to do additional questions. It's up to you. If you don't want to submit, it's your problem, not mine. Okay, so you can pass the course, but you have to think about how you can improve your performance. Okay? All right, so that's that. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to finish chapter 4. And I'm going to move chapter 14 together because our guest lecture was about transfer price last Wednesday. I don't want to wait till too late. So why you still remember? So I'm going to put chapter 4 and chapter 14 together because chapter 14 is not, I don't need so much time, but chapter 13 I need more time. So I combine the two together. Another benefit is I already finished your exam I told you last week, right? So why I still remember, what I did was I put chapter 4 and chapter 14 together. So you will see how I will combine the two chapters together. So chapter 14 is transfer price, one division, selling intermediate product, not complete product, components to another division. This division can buy internally from the same company or buying from outside. This is in decentralized organization. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. They can sell outside, they can sell internally, you can buy from outside, you can buy internally. The price that's set is called transfer price. It's not really a problem if everybody in the same country, I think the guest lecturer talk about this. When it becomes international transfer price, countries have different tax rate, okay? So this becomes a tax issue. When he talk about it, why I want him to talk about this topic is he can provide you another perspective that I don't want to talk about in class. He's tax auditor about transfer price. So he looking the same issue from other perspective. When I'm talking about transfer price, it's like decision making. Okay, why is like decision making? Well, we make it transfer. The buying division can buy from outside. So it's either make versus buy. That's what we learned from last class. So that's why I put the two topics together. It's a management accounting issue, but on Wednesday he provides you another perspective from the tax accountant perspective. He talked about different aspects, about different methods to set the price. Okay, it's more technical. So you get a taste of different perspective. But for my purpose, I'm looking at how we set the price. Set high or set low. And why is it linked to decision making? Because I can make it transfer or buying from outside, from the company perspective. Okay, so that's linked to make versus buy. I want to do one question, okay, to show you. And your final exam is going to have a question similar, like what I'm going to take up today. Okay, so we talk about relevant information for decision making, just very quick brief review, okay? If you're not here, this is your very last chance to learn this. In life, it doesn't matter what kind of decision you are making. You only need to worry about three things. What's the cost to me if I do it? What's the benefit if I do it? Is there any other additional benefit, additional cost? Can be positive, can be negative. You only need to worry about three things together. Okay? So there are different ways to figure out, should we do it or shouldn't we do it? Make, keep versus drop. You keep doing it, keep making the product or keeping the operation, the retail store, or close down or stop making it, discontinue. So I don't like to do the side-by-side method because that's a very traditional method. The textbook will always show you, if we keep doing it, this is the outcome. If we drop it, this is the outcome. You compare. I find it's very confusing. I don't like to do it that way. I just focus on what I'm not doing now. What I'm not doing now is to drop it. If I drop it, I discontinue, what happened? Make versus buy, I'm making it. If I don't make it, then what happened? I have to buy, so I focus on the buy. Special order, only one-time deal. Okay, only one-time deal. I'm not taking a special order, so if I take a special order, what happens? So I only focus on the other position that I'm not doing now. the most benefit. We call it profitability index. So we don't look at the contribution margin per unit because every unit use different amount of resources. So what do? We divide the scarce resource. It's called profitability index. Just to summarize, 3 things. Doesn't matter long-term, short-term, personal decision, whatever, you have to make decision. 3 things. Number 1, what's the cost to me? This is negative. Okay? If you drop it, discontinue the product, you're going to lose your contribution margin. No sales, of course, no variable cost. So basically, you lose out contribution margin. Okay? If you buy it, you're going to make the sales irrelevant. Doesn't matter you buy it or you make the sales. So sales is irrelevant. But when you buy it, there's a cost of buying. But also, you don't have to make. Okay? So cost of purchase. Special order, you're going to take a special order. Do you have to lose out your existing sales? That's the cost. Contribution margin loss. Benefit, what's the benefit? Can you save any avoidable fixed cost? Okay? Any fixed cost you can avoid. What's the benefit if you take a special order? Well, you have additional operating income. Sales, additional variable costs, you have an additional contribution margin. Of course, you have additional fixed costs. If there's any, then you have additional incremental operating income. Opportunity cost is from other product, other stuff. So we're going to do one question. So far, we haven't encountered a question with a negative opportunity cost from other things. So we're going to look at opportunity cost. Okay? You add the 3 things together. If positive, meaning your benefit is greater than the cost, you should go ahead. If it's negative, means your cost is greater than the benefit, you shouldn't do it. If equals 0, it means break even. You can decide to invest or not invest, or you can decide to do it or not to do it. It's okay. So then you have to consider other factors. Okay, so this is the essence of chapter 4. Now I'm going to do 2 questions with you. Okay. We did this question. This is keep versus drop. If I drop the regular, we did it last class. Now special order. This one I haven't done. Okay, so now Yoshi company makes 3 different models of color prisma screens. PS1, PS2, PS3, so there are 3 different product lines. Each one give you different selling price, variable cost. They also tell you each year how many units we're making. So let me tell you straight, your final exam is going to have a question like this. Okay, you better pay attention to this. But how do we use machine hour? Well, to make PS1 takes 6 hours, to make PS2, 12 hours, PS3, 8 hours. So each of the unit using different amount of time, okay? But if we don't make it, this product line, then PS1 we can save, this is called avoidable fixed cost. I can save $46,800. If I don't make PS2, I save $38,200 fixed cost. If I don't make PS3, I save $52,500. So these are called avoidable fixed costs. Only when you don't make it, then you save this money. Okay? Yoshi's production capacity is 90,000 machine hours per year. Okay, so do we need more hours than our capacity? Alright, so Chio is another company offered to buy 4,800 units of simpler version of PS3 for $435. Okay, so we sell PS3 $480. Now they want to buy simpler version $435, cheaper. But in order to make $435, the variable cost is $305, so they only make $130. Okay. But we also take less time to process, only 7 hours. But in order to do this, you have to spend additional $62,000 for fixed cost. Okay. The order has to be taken in full or rejected totally. You cannot just take a few units. Ask the customer go different places to buy it. No, you either take it or you don't take it. If they take the special order, it will not produce and sell PS3 to compete with Chio. So if you take my order, you cannot compete with me. Okay? So what's the question? The question is saying we have to figure out profitability index. Which one is more profitable? We have to rank the order. Okay? So this is your final exam question as well. Ranking. This is scarce resource. Given the machine hour constraint, which model should production be reduced by how many units? We cannot make all of them. So which one should I reduce and how many units? If Yoshi can purchase additional machine hours from another plant, how much they're willing to pay? Up to how much they're willing to pay. Should Yoshi accept this special order? What is the incremental operating income allowed for accepting this order? Hey, given the machine hour constraint, what is the impact, if any, on the production of the other two? So this is the opportunity cost number 3. Opportunity cost. Does it impact the other two products or no? Okay, so this is the question. Okay, so before we do this, I want to ask you, when you're going to take a special order, you're going to make $435. Okay, you're going to spend $305 variable cost. So each unit you're going to make contribution margin of $130. But in order to make $130, you have to spend $62,000 fixed cost. Let me ask you, what's the most important thing and the first thing a business person should think about? When you have this business opportunity, what is the first thing come to your head that you have to think about before you say yes? Is it break even? Bravo. Of course it's break even. Very, very important. I'm impressed because this morning, one student also said break even. Every time when you have fixed cost, don't think about the quality. We don't have information for quality, okay? If you cannot break even, there's no use to do the calculation. Break even is most important thing, okay? Business person. 62,000, each one, 130. How many units we need to make to sell to break even? I want you to calculate. Thank you. Everybody sign? How many? Oh, how many to break even? You are making $130 per unit. You have to spend $62,000. So how many units minimum you need to take? Anybody? Huh? How many units? Everybody's waiting for me. You make $130 per unit. You have to spend $62,000. So how many units? 477. Okay, this is important number to remember. Anytime when you go do business out there, okay? Break even, very important. If you don't break even, don't even bother. You don't need to calculate afterwards, just reject. Okay, they want 4,800 units, more than 477. Yes, then we can consider the next. Okay, you can consider how much you have to give up, what's the benefit, what I have to give up. But if you can't even break even, what the heck? Don't do it, just reject. Okay, so this is important. Now we have to figure out the profitability index ranking. As I mentioned in the final exam, I'll ask you this, okay? Also, there's a budget to asking you to calculate. Remember to tell you the production. So you have a production, it's the same as sales, can be the same. If you have beginning inventory, ending inventory is the same. You have no beginning inventory, you have no ending inventory, you have to make the same amount as sales. production and sales can be the same. If beginning and ending inventory not the same, so chapter 10 material, don't forget about it. Also link to chapter 5. Okay, let's do this question. PS1, PS2, PS3. Okay? Sales, 360, 540, and 480. Okay, this is sales. Variable cost, 240, 360, 340. Okay, I just copy that down. So now I figure out contribution margin per unit. This is $120, $180, and $140. Okay, so what I say to you is that this number will be okay for us to rank if every single product uses the same amount of time to process. If each unit takes 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, then you rank because the same. Because they don't use the same amount of hours. So we need to figure out profitability index divided by number of hours. Why? Because if I turn on the machine 1 hour later, how much each product give me in 1 hour profit? Okay, so you divide it by 6 hours, 12 hours, and 8 hours. So contribution margin per hour, that'll be, everybody is on equal footing. You use the same amount of electricity, number of hours to make, okay? So per unit, per hour is $20 per hour. Turn on the machine, PS1 give me $20, PS2 give me $15 per hour, PS3 give me $17.5 per hour. Okay, so this is what we call profitability index. Profitability index. So how I rank is based on this. Okay, your final exam, 3 marks. I just tell you straight. I don't waste your time. Okay. Now this is number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, so this is the ranking. Now, which product do I need to give up? So I need to figure out what's the total number of hours I need in order to make all these products. Okay, so usually I put the capacity on top. Capacity is 90,000 hours. Okay, so now requirement. Required hours. PS1, PS2, and PS3. We need to make 4,800 units, 3,200 units, 4,200 units, okay? I just look at the table there. They give me the number of units. How many hours? 6 hours each one, 12 hours, and 8 hours. I copy from here. Okay. So total hours required to make PS1, I need 28,800. So for 90,000 for sure I'm going to make PS1 because it gives me the most profit per hour. Okay? Then PS2, 38,400. This is the third one. So if I have a choice, I make PS3 first, which is 33,600 hours. Altogether, I need 100,800 hours. Not enough. How many hours short? You take the capacity minus. You don't have enough. So I don't have enough 10,800 hours. I don't have enough. Okay, so which one am I going to drop? I'm going to drop PS2 because it's the least profitable. So I'm going to drop PS2. PS2, each unit 12 hours. I don't have enough 10,800 hours, 12 hours PS2, so I need to drop 900 units. This is the answer. Will you be able to answer this question for me in the final exam? Okay, you don't have enough, so you're going to drop PS2. PS2, each one take 12 hours, so they're equivalent 900 hours. 900 units I cannot make. Okay, so up to how much we're willing to pay? You're going to be willing to pay up to the contribution margin. Because if you up to the contribution margin, you give up all your contribution margin, you're not losing money, but the customer will be happy. So contribution margin, you can look at contribution margin per unit or contribution margin per hour. Either way, okay. So each unit contribution margin is $180. Each hour, $15 per hour. Okay, so per unit, $180 per unit. 900 units equals $162,000 I'm willing to give up. You can figure it out using the hours. Each hour, $15. 12 hours per unit times 900 units, 162, the same. So these two together is this. Or you can say $15 per hour, and you can use these two, 10,800 hours, 162,000, the same. Whatever you calculate is the same. Okay, so you're willing to pay up to that. Now the next question is, are you going to take the special order? Right now I don't have a special order, so I don't have to worry about if I don't take special order compared with special order. I just focus on what if I take special order, okay? Take special order. Okay, number one is a benefit. Because I switch the two. Usually I do the cost, benefit, other. But this time, because this is special order, I take the special order. What do I have to give up? Any opportunity cost. Okay, so benefit. Okay, so the benefit, if I take it, I have something called incremental sales. So each unit I'm going to make $435. So this one can be transfer, as I mentioned to you, transfer. If I transfer, what's the benefit I'm going to get? Okay, what the sale, make versus buy, you make it, you transfer, what's the benefit you're going to get? Now you have the incremental variable cost, 305. So incremental contribution margin is 130. Okay, I told you sales break even, make sure, put it in the back of your head. Okay, 62,130, so 477. If any unit, any order less than 477 units rejected, you don't need to do any further calculation. Okay, so $130 per unit. How many do they want? 4,800 units. So we are going to make $624,000. But we have an incremental fixed cost we have to pay. 62,000. So this special order. I'm going to make $562,000. This is called taking special order. Benefit of taking special order. Sorry, I should call this incremental. Sorry, I should do incremental operating income, additional operating income. Okay, so this is the number, the benefit. Do we have cost? Do we have cost? Okay, so the cost is, if I take a special order, I cannot make my PS3. So yes, existing sales going to be impacted. I cannot make my own PS3. I have to give up PS3. Okay, number two, cost of losing PS3. Okay, so PS3, we have sales, we have variable costs, we have contribution margin. Now, if you cannot sell, you lose out. But then I can save avoidable fixed cost. Okay, so also you have three things. Loss sales, which is 480. Okay, cost savings, variable cost is 340. So now loss of contribution margin is $140. Each unit. Okay, so how many units? We make 4,200. You're going to lose out 4,200 because we don't have a beginning inventory. We don't have an ending inventory. So what's the sales? We just have to assume that the same as production. Okay, so 4,200 unit. Each unit lose 140. So $588,000 you can lose out. Now we save avoidable fixed cost. So I can save $52,500 if I don't make it. Okay, so this is the net cost of losing PS3. Okay, so losing PS3, you're going to lose $535,500. Okay, so now you have two numbers. You're going to benefit $562,000. You have to give up your existing sales, $535,500. So we're still okay. But there's another component, which is the opportunity cost from other products. So up to this point, we haven't done a question about other product. So how do I know other product going to be impacted or not? That's what the question number 4 is about. Given the machine constraint, what's the impact, if any, on other two products? Okay, PS1, PS2. So now this is the opportunity cost. Can be positive, can be negative. And I'm going to explain to you why it can be positive or negative. Number 3, I'm going to write it down nicely for you. Number 3 is opportunity cost. Can be positive, can be negative from other product, PS1 and PS2, because you are trading. Okay, so let's take a look at the capacity. Altogether, I have 90,000 hours I can make product. My priority is to allocate 28,800 hours to make PS1. Okay, that's my priority. Number 2, I'm going to make PS3. PS3 will take 33,600 hours. Okay, now I'm going to make PS2, but PS2 I don't have enough So this is the current situation. You don't have enough for PS2. Now, does it impact on the other two products? Now you have to compare PS3. Okay, need 33,600 hours. If I'm making the simpler version, if I can substitute simpler version and PS3, if they use the same amount of time, there's no impact on the other product. There's no opportunity cost because just switch one from another. Simpler PS3. If the same, no impact. Means no opportunity cost, no positive, no negative. Now, if the PS3, okay, 33,600 hours, you use more, but simpler version use less hours. Think about this, okay? So we have 33,600. If simpler version only need 30,000 hours, if 30,000 hours, I only need to use this amount of hours. Guess what? I release this space to make PS2. Then we have benefit. Are we okay with this? Because you now release, let's say 30,000 hours. You release 3,600 hours. We can make PS2. So making more PS2, I have more contribution margin if they don't use the same amount of time. Okay, so this is a positive. If simpler PS3 use less hour than the regular, then you have benefit. On the other hand, can be otherwise. What if you use more time? So not only you use PS3, you also use some of the PS2. So you cannot make PS2. You lose out PS2. You squeeze the PS2. Now you lose PS2. That's opportunity cost, negative. This morning, one student asked me, is it possible to lose some of PS1? It's possible. Depends on how much. You may lose all the PS2 and maybe lose some of the PS1. It's possible in reality. Okay, so this is what happened now. I'm going to show you the comparison, opportunity cost. If the PS3 hours equals simpler PS3 hours, no opportunity cost because you don't give up anything. Just switch. If PS3 use more time than simpler, so simpler use less time, then you can release those hours to make PS2, then we have opportunity cost. And this is a positive because I can make something else, I make contribution margin. If PS3, okay, use less hours, the simpler version use more hours, then you have to use PS2 hours. The opportunity cost is negative. This is what happened. The impact on other product can be positive, can be negative. If you have to take away other products' production, that's negative. If you can give up some of the PS3 hours to PS2, you are positive. Are we okay? Make sense to you? Okay. So now let's compare. PS3, 4,200 units times 8 hours, 33,600 hours. Simpler version need 4,800 units. Each unit 7 hours, so it's 33,600. Oh, perfect. No opportunity cost because You just switch one product to another product, the same amount of time. There is no positive, there's no negative. So this is number, the D. Given the machine hour constraint, what's the impact? There's no impact. No opportunity cost. Okay? So I add this back together. 0. So the three things together, 1, 2, and 3. This is what we call net benefit cost of taking special order. Is positive 26,500. We should go ahead. Take the special order. Are we okay with this? A lot of thinking for you. This, you're going to have a question like this in the final exam, okay? Get you to think, but instead of make versus buy, maybe I give you special order, maybe I give you transfer price. The same stuff, same calculation, same logic. Okay, so another question very quickly is the additional question number 2. Okay. So NewTek specialized making 1 liter plastic bottle. Okay. So the machine are capable making 100 bottles per hour. You turn on the machine 1 hour later, you get 100 bottles. Okay. Company estimate the variable cost of making these bottles $25 cents, and you sell for 55 cents. So ding 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 in your head. Okay. How much do I make per bottle? 55 cents, 25 cents. I make 30 cents per bottle. Okay. So that's that. Now management has been approached by a local toy company. So this toy company wants you to make a toy. Okay? So they're willing to pay $3.30. Okay, that's more money. Now, variable cost is $2.64. So ding 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 in your head, okay? It's a 66 cents per toy. All things being equal. 30 cents, 66 cents, I want 66 cents. If they use the same amount of time, I want 66 cents. But they tell you, okay, they also have to generate $22,000 for fixed cost. So what's the first thing you think about? Break even. Break even, okay? So 22,000, 66 cents. So how many units I need to take? If I don't take enough to break even, forget it. Okay, so they say, okay, molding machine can produce only 40 toys. Okay, so 40 toys, 66 cents per hour, 66 cents per unit, 40 toys per hour. So you only make $26.40 per hour. Bottles, even though each unit is less, 30 cents. I make 100 bottles, $30. So $30, $26, well, I want $30. I want to make bottles if I have a choice. I want to make as many bottles as I can. Okay, so now how many do they want? They want 100,000 toys. What's the break-even point? $22,000. Each unit give you 66 cents. So how many units you must make to break even? Is it 3, 3, 3, 3, 4? Okay, so make sure in your head you need to have this number. Anytime below this unit, you just reject it because you're going to lose money. Okay, so now capacity 10,000 machine hours available. NewTek fixed cost, excluding the cost of making this mold. It doesn't matter you take a special or not, will be 220,000. This is called irrelevant. What's relevant is if you take a special order, you have to spend additional 22,000. This is relevant information. Okay, so now we have A, B, C, D, E. We have 5 scenarios. Suppose the demand for the bottle is 750,000 bottles. Okay? Now, special order, you have to take everything 100,000 or reject it. Should we take the special order? Look at B. It's the same question, but now the bottle, the demand for bottle is 850,000 more. C, even more, 900,000. You have to take it in full or reject it totally. D, suppose the demand for bottle is 900,000, the same as C, but you can take any quantity you want. Okay, you can take any quantity you want. So should we take a special order? Suppose the demand for the bottle is 950,000 units. They can accept any quantity. Should we accept the special order? Okay, so let's do the question. Alright, so usually I compare the two bottles and toys. Sales, 55 cents, variable cost, 25 cents, contribution margin, 30 cents. So I already calculate in my head. I already know how much. Toys, $3.30. Variable cost, $2.64. So each unit, I make 66 cents. Now, it's the time that we have a limit. So times number of hours, each hour, how many unit? Okay, so before it was divided because each unit take many hours. But now it's 1 hour, you make many units. So times 100 units times 40 units. So contribution margin per hour, you turn on the machine 1 hour later, we get $30 per hour. And this one we get $26.40 per hour. Sales break even, important. That's why after your midterm, doesn't mean that you forget about break even. This is life skill. You go into business, you have to always think about break even. Okay, so break even, 22,000. 66 cents, 33334, 333. Okay, so this is minimum you need to take. All right, so if our capacity is 10,000 hours, so what should we do? Should we take a special order? So I'm going to take a special order. Okay, so what's the number of hours required? So bottles. Okay, so first of all, I write capacity. 10,000 hours. Capacity, bottles, and toys. So 750,000 bottles. Each hour make 100 bottles. So I need 7,500 hours. Are we okay so far? Our own requirement. Okay, toys, 100,000 toys, 40 units per hour. So we need 2,500 hours. The two add together, it just happened, 10,000 hours. So I don't have to give up my sales. So number 2 is no giving up, no cost of existing sales. There's no opportunity cost, nothing to give up. Okay, so of course, I'm going to take the special order. All right. So you take the required minus, capacity minus the required is 0, so you don't give up anything. Okay, so incremental sales is $3.30. Incremental variable cost $2.64. Incremental contribution margin is 66 cents each unit. I need 100,000 units, so I make $66,000. But I also have an incremental fixed cost, additional fixed cost, $22,000. So incremental operating income, I make $44,000. Are we okay with this? To take the special order, I make $44,000. Okay, so this is the benefit. Number 2, cost loss of existing sales, 0. Number 3, any opportunity cost, 0. Okay, so I show you all 3 together. Put it nicely. This is the net benefit, cost of taking a special order is $44,000. This is our base case. If you take a special order, all of them, $44,000. Are we okay with this? If you take a special order. Okay? Now, number 2 is our demand for our bottles getting more, but our bottle make us more money. So, I have to give up some of this in order to get $44,000. Okay, so now let's look at the capacity. How many I have to give up? 10,000 hours. Okay, required. Bottles, 850,000. Toys, 100,000. We okay? All right. So I need 8,500 hours, and I need 2,500 hours. So altogether, I need 11,000 hours. Sorry, not enough. So you take 10,000 minus 11,000. So I don't have enough 1,000 hours, which means I have to give up my sales from the bottle. Do we know per hour how much we make from the bottle? Contribution margin, yes or no? Yes, we already calculated before. If you look at here, contribution margin, $30 per hour. I have to give up 1,000 hours. So, $30,000. Give up. You make 44, you give up 30,000, you're still ahead. You should take a special order. Okay? So, otherwise you can use the contribution margin per unit. It's okay. Alright? So, quickly, quick and easy, each hour, $30. So I have to give up $30,000. Okay, so I'm going to calculate to show you step by step, okay? Number 1 is the benefit. Okay, benefit we already calculate. To take 100,000 units, our incremental operating income is $44,000. You say, where did you get the 44,000? Okay, look up. See above. Okay, I already calculated right here. So I'm not going to repeat. I don't have time. I have to do another chapter. So what I'm going to do is, you are going to write the whole thing down. I don't have time to do it. I just say, I made $44,000 from the sales. Okay? So see above, it's the same. Now, what's the cost of losing bottles? Okay, so let's do the calculation. Loss of sales. $0.55. Cost savings on variable cost, 25 cents. So loss of contribution margin is 30 cents per unit. Okay? Now, each hour make 100 units, 1,000 hours, $30,000. Number 3, opportunity cost. We don't know if other products, we don't see other products, just bottle and the toys. 0. So this is called net benefit cost of taking the toys, the special order. So we are ahead $14,000. Yes, we should go ahead. Okay, so now it go to 900,000 units. We don't have enough, then we have to give up more. So as long as our giving up is less than what we're going to benefit, we should take it. Okay, so the same thing. We do the calculation. Okay, capacity 10,000 hours. Okay, required bottles. Now bottles more. 900,000. 9,000 hours. Plus the toys. 100,000 toys. 2,500 hours. 2 together, 11,500 hours. You have to give up 1,500 hours. What do we say before? Each hour, if you make bottles, give you $30. Quick and easy, $45,000 you have to give up in order to get 44,000. Would you do that? No. You wouldn't trade 45,000 for 44,000. We okay with this? Okay, so I'm going to write it down nicely for you. Benefit, incremental, operating income, $44,000. You know where I get this from? Go to the first one, okay? Now, cost. Of losing bottles. Loss of sales, 55 cents. Saving variable cost, 25 cents. Loss of contribution margin, 30 cents. Times how many units? 100 units per hour. We're going to lose out 1,500 hours. So that's 150,000 units. So you will lose out $45,000. So negative $1,000. Would you do it? No. We don't have opportunity cost. So no, reject. Now D, it's the same, but you can take as many units as possible. Okay, so we're going to allocate all 9,000 hours to make bottles. So we only have 1,000 hours to make the toys. Okay, so should we take it? That's why break even is important. Okay, so this is not, you're going to take 100,000. You can take any units you want. Okay, so bottles. 900,000. So we need 9,000 hours. So toys. do you compare with? Hello, are you listening or just trying to copy down? Is it okay to take 40,000 units? Yes or no? Yes, why? Why? It's above the break even. So as long as it's above break even, you can take. Because you are not losing out anything. We're going to make bottles. Thank you for that. Don't just sit there and copy, and you go home, you don't absorb, and go home, you still spend more time learning this. Okay, so incremental sales, $3.30. Incremental variable cost, $2.64. Incremental contribution margin is 66 cents. But now we only take 40,000 unit, not 100,000 unit. So I'm going to make 26,400. Incremental fixed cost, 22,000. I still make $2,400. I'm not giving up bottles. I don't have any opportunity cost, positive or negative. So $2,400 we should take because it's above break even. Okay, next one, E. 950,000 bottles, which means that we only have 500 hours left over to make toys. Are we okay with that? 500. So if I only have 500, I'm not going to write it down, okay? 500 hours. Why? Because 950,000 autos divided by 100, this is 9,500. 10,000 hours. 500 hours, each hour 40, so you make 20,000 units. Is this okay? Is this okay? Should we take this special order? We can take any units. Why not? Why is this not okay? Because below break even. That's why in the beginning break even is important. You see here? I put down break even. Less than break even, you could lose money. If you don't believe me, let's do the calculation, okay? Incremental sales, $3.30. Incremental variable cost, $2.64. Incremental contribution margin is 66 cents. You are making 20,000 units, $13,200. You have an incremental fixed cost, cost you $22,000. What happened? You lose money. $8,800 negative. No go. So whenever you take special order, you have to say, what's the benefit? But before you do that, you have to figure out break even. The special order above break even, you can consider the next step. If not even break even, you don't have to do the calculation. But I just show you the calculation. It doesn't work. You shouldn't take a special order. Okay? Break even is important. Alright, so now I'm going to do chapter 14. So chapter 14 is transfer price. And I post an article. I want you to read it, okay? It's a pharmaceutical company. I think our guest lecturer also mentioned this pharmaceutical company. It's a very famous case. Okay, so basically, it's one company in different countries. So one division buying another intermediate product, we call it intermediate product, maybe ingredients, maybe finished product, maybe not finished product. You have to assemble it from another division. Because in the world, different countries have different tax rate, okay? So what happened is this company, if you take a look at that article, it's very short, only 1.5 pages. So the Swiss head office is selling the ingredients, active ingredients, make some maybe cold medicine or something to Canadian range. But in Canada, we pay a lot of taxes. You know how much taxes we have to pay, right? Because we have healthcare and everything else. Okay, so what happens once they transfer over? Think about this, okay? I'll ask you this in the final exam. Now, you don't even have to calculate. I will ask you from the low tax selling to high tax, or from the high tax selling to low tax, within the acceptable range. What price are you going to set? Are you going to set high, or are you going to set low? Okay, so from Switzerland they pay lower taxes. In Canada we pay higher taxes. So when they ship the product over here, in Canadian branch, they can buy in the market, I think between $250 to $350 per kilogram or per pound. They don't pay the price. They pay $1,600. Oh my God, $1,600. If you are not related company, would you pay so much? You try to say it's better ingredients, it's more potent, and so on and so forth. You can pay $350. You can even pay $500. If you are not related company, would you pay $1,600? Probably not. That's why it costs a little bit, attention, what's going on. So this case has been fighting, I think only in the recent years it's settled. For 20 years of fighting. So what happened is, they have to pay back all the taxes they owe, plus the interest, plus the penalty. Okay, that's a lot of money. Okay, so this is what happened about transfer price. It's one division selling the product to another division. So you say, why do I put these two chapters? Why chapter 4 and right away chapter 14? Okay, so think about it this way, okay? I want you to listen. We make transfer. The buying division can use the product or they buy from outside. This is no more, no less than make versus buy. Make versus buy, okay? So I combine the two questions, two chapters together. Make versus buy, or you transfer. You make it and transfer, or you buy from outside. Okay, so before we do the transfer pricing, I'm going to briefly talk about the decentralization and responsibility center, and I'm going to introduce the overall view, how it works. Okay, so when we make the transfer price, set the transfer price, during the speech, he talked about different technical terms. That's for international, the tax purposes. For our purpose, we are talking about management accounting, cost accounting. Okay, so I'm going to ask you how we set the price, of course, within the acceptable range, which is what we call arm's length, as if you are a related company. Okay, so we can use the market-based price. If the market $500, you use $500 or $550. Okay, or we can use the cost base. I calculate what's my variable cost, my fixed cost, everything add together. I say this is the cost. I want you to pay this price. The problem with this method is this. Okay, listen. You shouldn't use your phone. Okay, I'm not telling you anything. You don't pay attention. You go home. You have to learn yourself. Okay. So the cost. Why is a problem? The problem is if I just sell to you, use variable cost. What's incentive for me to sell to you? I can sell to outside. I can make more. Why should I sell to you based on variable cost? I still have fixed cost to cover. So I have no motivation to sell to you. So once in a while, you may have to transfer a big lump sum profit for me. Or I can sell to you based on full cost, variable cost plus fixed cost. Here's another problem. What's the problem? If I sell you based on the full cost, I cover my variable cost, I cover my fixed cost, now go to you, every unit, the fixed cost, every unit becomes your variable cost. So when you sell to outside with finished product, the price, including cover the fixed cost, my fixed cost in your division, also my fixed cost. The fixed cost get covered twice. So your product may not be competitive. That's the issue. Okay? So you may use the negotiation price between the variable cost and market price. You can negotiate, you can figure out. But it's time consuming to do. Okay, so this is because it's in the decentralization organization. So each subunit manager, they can decide what they want to do. They make it sell their market, or they can transfer to another division in the same company. Okay? Responsibility center, these are all management accounting concept. So centralization, decentralization, let me tell you, you're going to have multiple choice question for sure, because I remember. Okay? So in a company, not always centralized or totally decentralized. It's always in a continuum. Company may start with centralization when it's small. Everything has to go through the CEO of the company to make a decision. When the company getting bigger and bigger, it's very difficult for one person to make decisions, so it becomes decentralized. In the high-tech business, because a lot of creativity, you need a quick turnaround. You don't go all the way up. So subunit manager was giving the responsibility to make decision, become decentralized. Sometimes too decentralized is not very efficient, so going back and forth. This is what happened in real life, okay? So I ask you, when I was writing my professional exam, they asked us, what's the benefit? What's the cost of decentralization? So the benefit of decentralization is quick response to the market need. So your market needs certain product, needs certain variation of the prototype, you can change it very quick. Quick response to the local needs, quicker decision making. And if the subunit manager is doing well, they get bonus. They feel good for their training. If they don't do well, then they're going to learn how to improve their decision making. Okay, so these are the benefits. Now, the cost of decentralization. Of course, there's a cost. Because if I only look at my own benefit, sometimes can at the expense of the company head office. So I always look for my benefit. I don't care other people. So suboptimal decision making at the expense of the overall company, this is what we call goal incongruence. So this is a management accounting term, okay? It's called goal incongruence. The goal not aligned. Your subunit objective, in order for the manager to get bonus at the expense of the overall company, is called incongruence, not together. Decrease loyalty toward the organization, increase the cost of gathering information. Also, the most significant part is the duplication of the activities. I do this, you also do that. Every division do the same thing. So there's, of course, more cost involved. Sometimes necessary, sometimes not necessary. So for example, how many registrar's office at U of T? U of T? Many. We have one here at UT Scarborough, one at UTM, and there are quite a few in St. George campus. So it's duplication of activity, but is it necessary? Of course. Because sometimes if you have an issue, you need to go talk to a registrar's office. You don't want to go all the way to downtown. You don't want the UTM student come downtown, or you don't want them to come all the way to UTSC. So sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not necessary. Okay, so responsibility center. This is about performance evaluation. So this link to chapter 18. Performance evaluation. Okay, so we cannot evaluate every senior executive the same way. Depends on the function of their unit, department. Okay, so you cannot say, okay, we're going to evaluate everybody based on return on investment. How can you evaluate me based on return on investment? I'm in accounting. How can you evaluate me based on return on investment? I don't have revenue. I don't have an investment. I only have a whole bunch of accountants to prepare financial statement. I only have a cost. The IT department, they don't have a revenue. They don't say, I help you, you have to pay me $20 each time when I help you. No revenue. I only have a cost. I hire all these technicians or whatever to fix problem. So all these units only have a cost, no profit. You cannot evaluate them based on return on investment. So for those unit department, their function only to support, we call them cost center. They only generate expenses. So the managers are responsible for how they manage the cost. Are they manage the cost under control? Okay. The second one is revenue center. So in real world, there is no one division only generate revenue, no cost. There's no such a thing. Okay? But what happened is the unit, we only focus on the sales generation, revenue generation. So this is sales department. Of course, they have salespeople. We have to pay the salespeople commission. But we don't worry about the commission part, the expense part. We just look at how much they generate. So online sales is another division. You want to evaluate managers' performance, online sales, how much they generate the sales, okay? So managers only accountable for revenue generation. Profit center, combine of revenue expenses. So if you go to Canadian Tire, they sell product, but they also have one division, fixing cars. So car fixing division, they generate revenue. They also have mechanics. So minus the two, you have a profit center. This is called profit center. So manager accountable for cost and revenue. The last one is called investment center. So what's the difference between revenue center and investment center? Investment center, the managers are accountable for everything. Revenue generation, also have expenses, this is your profit. But also have a responsibility of making investment decision. Okay, so all three together. Investment, revenue, and cost. I'm going to give you an example, okay? Have you ever been to our athletic center? The gym over there? Have you ever? I've never been there. Since they built the place, I've never been there. So what do they have? They have those equipment, right? You can go and exercise. You just need to show your student card because you pay for the service already. But if you want to take their program, maybe they have some kind of exercise program or something, they ask you to pay more money. Pay more money, they generate revenue. But they also hire trainer. So revenue minus the trainer, the expenses, you have profit center. So if the manager in the athletic center is responsible generating all these programs, or sometimes summer program, they have a university student hiring them to kind of do some kind of a camp for little kids. Okay, so then they generate revenue, they have their expenses, profit center. Now, how about, what's the difference about investment center? If the manager of the athletic center responsible for creating new program for students, for community, for kids, the summer camp, generate revenue, also responsible for hiring people to train, to do some kind of program, also responsible for investment, purchasing equipment. They can decide what kind of equipment they want to invest. That's investment center. If the manager over there do not have a responsibility making the investment decision, let's say U of T downtown, finance department making the investment decision. What kind of equipment you can request, we need this kind of investment. But somebody else make a decision, then it's not investment center, it's profit center. If they get to invest, make the decision what to invest, it's called investment center. Okay? So if you are investment center, usually we look at return on investment. If you're a profit center, you look at what's the profitability. Okay? So it depends on what kind of function we evaluate manager based on their function, what they do. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a picture. I showed you this picture before. This is what we say decentralization. Okay? So I took these pictures. Every time when I go somewhere, I always think about cost accounting. Everything I see, cost accounting, everything cost accounting. Okay, so I took this picture in Paris. Okay, so right away you know this is decentralized organization because the subunit manager in France, they can decide what kind of bun. So it's not in the whole world, everybody have the hamburger buns. Because in France, people used to eat baguette. So they call it baguette. Okay, I did not try that. Baguette. That's what they sell. Respond to the local needs. Okay, this picture I took in front of a train station in Rome. Okay, so this is McDonald's as well. So you see, in Europe, in Italy, people drink good coffee. And when they drink good coffee, they want some nice dessert too. How about here in Toronto or in Canada? When you go to McDonald's, what do you see in terms of dessert? Donuts. That's the quality we have, right? In life, we eat donuts. We don't eat this kind of nice cake, cheesecake, macaron, all this type of thing. Okay, so the subunit manager can make decision what kind of product they want to sell. So one year, probably I told you this story before. We went to Switzerland. So we went to this little tiny tourist city called Lucerne. Probably you've been there. It's very beautiful, and we went to the downtown area. We saw this McDonald's over there, and outside is a big banner, spring rolls or shrimp rolls. And I was surprised. I said, why would they sell spring rolls and shrimp roll here? Because they're Swiss. Swiss don't eat this type of thing. Why do they sell this type of thing in McDonald's in Switzerland? And quickly I realized, I look around, well, a lot of tourists from China, right, from Asia, they want to eat spring roll, they want to eat something like hometown food. So they sell those, and that is another example of decentralization. The local manager can make a decision based on whatever their local needs. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's get into the transfer price. Okay, so what happened with transfer price? What's the price we set? It's from 1 unit charge intermediate product, means not finished product, maybe components, to another division. Okay. All right, so what we want is to encourage transfer price between the divisions. It's always better to buy internally if we can, okay? So the goal is to make sure that we have an effective transfer price that will help to promote full congruence. The local objective and the company head office objective will align, okay? Promote the sustained high-level management effort. They want to buy and sell from each other. Evaluate performance of individual subunit and their manager, and promote high level of subunit autonomy so they can make decision, want to make the best decision for themselves, also for the company. Okay, so I already talked about 3 methods we can set the price. Okay, market value, okay, transfer price, or based on the cost, or based on negotiation. Here, I want to remind you, okay, because I will ask you in the final exam. You don't need to know how to calculate. If you listen to the class, you just need to use the common sense. Okay, so 2 divisions, 1 transfer to another. So you only have 2 choices. High tax, low tax. Only 2. One is higher, one is lower. Okay? So taxes because the percentage is so low. It doesn't matter. So we only focus on the high tax jurisdiction. Our focus, high tax. Okay, high tax, low tax jurisdiction. Oh, sorry. Alright, so we only have two choices. One division pay higher taxes, another division pay lower taxes. And it's okay for tax planning, but you cannot avoid paying taxes. So within the acceptable range, within the arm's length kind of a decision, let's say between 250 and 350 in the market price, if you charge $400 or $500, it's still okay. If you charge $2,000, well, it's very suspicious. You don't do that. So even though the market is 350, you can say we're going to charge 450 or 500 because it's a better quality or something. You can argue, as long as it's not too far away from the market, it's still okay. Okay. So now we only focus on the high tax jurisdiction. Low tax, we have to pay tax. It's not that important. So now what we try to do is try to pay lower tax. This is our objective. Okay, so when we do the transfer, we may transfer in, we may transfer out. So from the high tax to low tax, or low tax to high tax, let's take a look at the situation. And you just need to think about it for your final exam. You don't even need to know how to calculate. So it's not possible the student can get 20% in the exam unless they don't even come to class. Okay, so let's think about this. If your objective is to pay lower tax, which means that you need to have a low profit. Are we okay with this? Low profit, smaller profit, even the tax rate is very high, you pay less tax. Are we okay with this? Okay, now look. You are selling division. Your selling price, selling to this division, has to set high to get a low profit or set low to have a low profit. I'm going to say one more time. You're selling. You want to show low profit, everything being equal. You want the price to be high so you have a low profit, or you want to set the price low so you have a low profit? Selling at a lower price, of course, low. Because of all other expenses the same, if you can sell it within the range between 300 and 500, sell 300. You report less profit, you pay less tax. Are we okay with this? Okay, so now coming over here becomes your cost of goods sold. So it's a low cost of goods sold. Do we care? We don't care because the tax rate is small. Even you have lots of profit, tax rate doesn't matter. Okay, so now let's think about the other way around, from low tax to high tax. So when you are selling over here, this becomes your cost of goods sold. Remember, your objective is a low tax, which means that you want to have a low profit. So if you want to achieve low profit, your cost of goods sold, all things being equal, your cost of goods sold has to be bigger or smaller. You want to show low profit, your cost of goods sold has to be bigger or smaller to achieve low profit? Bigger, high. So selling price is high, so you're going to have lots of profit, low tax jurisdiction, it doesn't matter because the percentage may be 10%, 5%, doesn't matter. Okay, so this one is exactly the story about this pharmaceutical company. In Switzerland, the tax rate is low. In Canada, tax rate is high. When we buy it over, if I show huge cost of goods sold, I have smaller profit to be taxed. Sometimes even no profit at all. That's the issue here. So the guest speaker, in the past, he used to tell lots of stories. I like him to tell stories, but sometimes he doesn't tell stories. So this time he only talked about this, and there's another banana story. So from South America, they sell lots of banana over here. They don't even add anything. The only thing they add is a sticker on top. Okay, I don't eat banana, so I don't know the brand name for the banana. So just because they add that, banana is the same. But once they put the sticker on top, now the value go up. They can sell to Canada. Very, very high cost of goods sold. Because we pay lots of taxes, you reduce. He also said before a story about Starbucks in UK. I think for 15 years, never paid a cent of tax. They don't report any profit because change the cost of goods sold a little bit. They don't have to pay taxes. So I think investigating journalists, that's what he was talking about. Knowing accounting, you don't have to be an accountant, you can be a journalist too. So as an investigating journalist, found out that Starbucks, how can you not making money? They have profit year after year, how come they don't have to pay any tax at all? So somebody raised in the parliament, and so they did an audit. So eventually they volunteer to pay tax back. Okay, so those are the interesting story about transfer price. But from the management accounting perspective, I just looking at from the, how do you set the price? Okay, high or low? So this is what you're going to know for your exam, okay? So we only focus on the high tax jurisdiction. If you are selling, you want to set the price low. If you are buying, you're going to set the price high, so you don't have to pay a lot of taxes. Of course, within the reasonable range, okay? All right, so I'm going to quickly tell you the story, the overview, and that's all the time I have because I have to give you the exam back. Okay, so Division A and Division B. So Division A, suppose making the chips, let's say chips inside, I don't know what's inside. So they make a component, or maybe this, each tab, okay? The keyboard, the keys. They only make keys. They have the equipment to make the keys. And then what do? They sell it to external, somebody else also making the keyboard, or they can sell it to another division of their company, have the equipment to assemble this together. Okay? So because they are decentralized, they can choose whatever they want to do. They can sell it outside, or they can sell it externally. So what's the price they're going to set? It's called transfer price. Now, Division A is buying raw material from X, just the parts. So they can make, let's say they buy plastic, okay, from X. So X sell at $8, but then you buy the raw material, cannot become a chip or the key. Division A has to spend more time and machine to put it together. Okay, so the process cost, each unit will be $2. So each one will be $10. Sell to Division B or selling to outside. Division B has an opportunity to buy from their local market from Y, and the price $15. So if you make it, you transfer, or you can buy from outside. Okay, so let's take a look. Remember A and B in the same company. So if the price, suppose B buys, and then they have to process to put more stuff, material, labor, overhead to make this thing. Suppose they sell to outside, $25. Okay, so now let's take a look at the situation. Okay, so sales, if I sell to you at $10, my variable cost is $10. Contribution margin is 0. I'm not happy. I have my fixed cost to cover. Okay, so now B, you sell to outside. Doesn't matter who you buy from. You sell to outside for $25. If you buy from me, variable cost $10, but you have to process. Suppose process cost for you add additional $5, so the cost to you is $15. Contribution margin is $10. Okay, so let's take a look at overall head office, headquarters. What happened? When the transfer price at $10, I contribute nothing. You contribute $10. You are a star, I'm nobody. $10. Okay? Now I can move the price up a little bit. Suppose $12. My variable cost is still $10. I make $2. Now coming over to you, you still sell for $25 each. Okay? Variable cost now becomes $12, not $10. You still spend $5. Now you only make $8. The company overall transfer at $12, still make $10. But $2 coming from me, $8 coming from you. Okay, I can keep going up until hit your market price, 15. Okay, so now I'm asking you, we are from the same company. I can sell to you at 15. You can buy from me, you pay 15, or you pay outside, not related company, 15. Is it better for you to buy from me, or it's better for you to buy from somebody else? I'm asking you. This you don't need to calculate. Just give me a reason. Okay, so I'm competitive. Let's set up market price. I sell it to you 15. You buy from outside also 15. Is it better for you to buy, or for the company, for you to buy from me 15, or buy from other company 15? And why? Anybody? Quick. Anybody? Yes? Within the company? Why? Say it again. Money stay, the profit stay inside. That's exactly the point. Oh, this morning students start to talk about better quality outside. You don't have the information. We are selling the same stuff, okay? The same $15. Why would you pay from outside? If you pay outside at 1 cent, I don't even see it. If you buy from me, okay, my variable cost is 10, I have $5. If you pay 15, I have no sales. Nothing. Okay? So at $25, 15, $5. So at 15, it's better to buy internally. Because if you give me the money, $15, I have contribution margin, contribute $5 to the company, you contribute $5. If you pay $15 to somebody else, I don't have the $5 to show. So this is still $10. So there's a Chinese saying, okay? I'm going to tell you, there's a Chinese saying that when you have a good fertilized water, a good water, you want to keep it in your field. You don't want to give it to other people's land. You don't want to let the water, good water, go to other neighbors' land. You heard about this? Okay? It makes sense to you, right? Good stuff you want to keep inside. You don't want to give it to somebody else. So the money you want, but now if I charge you $16, because I sell it at 16. If I want to sell it at 16, would you buy from me? You can buy 15, and I say I'm going to sell to you 16. Would you buy from me? No, because it's cheaper for you. So you're going to buy your 15, I'm going to sell my 16, then what happened to that? It's better for the company. I make $6, you make $5, so $11 altogether. This is all about capacity and the market. If I can sell 16, sure, I sell my 16, you buy your 15, even better. But when it's the same,